other ones going?
Everybody's on the way. Don't worry.
But don't you have to like click for
See, that one's
Facebook?
good.
I
That
gotta
one's
move
good.
over.
Go live. That one's good. This one's on. Go live. We are good on everybody.
You title it for
I
Facebook?
did.
Okay. You definitely should be in the center for at least for Instagram, so if people want to watch it. Okay. What? So we did not let anyone know we're going live, but that was because we had a burst of like, we need to go live right now.
Yeah. We.
We well also first we want to introduce ourselves. Tamra.
And I'm Brian.
This is Brian, and we're here to find Brian a living kidney donor, and also discuss the process that he's been going through or we've been going through so far. Um, Brian, can you move over, please?
No.
I, okay. Let's share some space. Brian doesn't do well with sharing. He didn't do well in kindergarten. Before.
Like we're married or something.
Okay, so you want to do your original thing first? Go into your. Did you forget?
I did.
You forgot about. We always like to start with this dad jokes. Brian has yet to find
No, no,
really,
I
really
found
good.
I found like one or two.
Okay, one or two.
Where do cows display their artwork?
Where?
At a museum.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, we
Okay,
started,
but wait.
started with a good one.
Why don't you put that one? You can put it on our page after.
No, I'm good.
No, what?
Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. That would be a good one to put on.
No.
I think it would be good because people would find it funny. Okay, what's the next?
Not good at all.
I'm glad you're like finally going through them and not having to have me tell you that those were terrible dad jokes.
Why can't leopards hide?
Why?
They are always spotted.
Oh, that's cute too.
Oh gosh, you're putting a lot on this third one.
This is good. You're like 2-0.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Last one. See if
Mm-hmm.
you go 3-0. Which U.S. state has the smallest soft drinks?
Which? Okay, go ahead.
Minnesota. Damn it! 2 out of 1.
It was okay. It wasn't a complete fail. What?
That was good.
Okay.
But
What? The Minnesota one was good.
no, there's
Oh,
another one.
are you gonna say it so we all can laugh too?
But like it's only because I'm a PK.
A preacher's kid. That's what PK means.
Correct.
Wait, can you at least
But okay, how did the church advertise their fish fry?
how?
Our cod is an awesome cod. Yo, that works so
Wow.
ill.
Okay.
And I'm saying it's a PK thing, bro.
I mean, I get it.
Oh,
Okay.
oh my god, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
tearing over here. That's phenomenal.
Okay. I'm glad you got a
Oh,
laugh. You need a laugh. That's good.
I haven't laughed like that since I was a little
Little
girl.
girl. I know
Oh,
your jokes now. It's kind of you can't use them on me anymore.
you're a joke.
So okay, before we start anything, Brian, we have to show people our. We have another new shirt
Bam, bam,
from
bam, 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 bam.
another wonderful friend who made these.
The top of it says the hashtag.
Hashtag kidney for BT. And then on the back, I'll turn it.
That
Oh, wait. Oh, yes.
QR code.
Yeah, where's my QR code? On this, yes. And these are going to be on our website soon. We are getting the color together um, and everything so people can get them if they want to. We would love for you guys to help spread the word by wearing our shirts. We're going to do them in a long sleeve and short sleeve. And we're thinking about doing a hoodie. But let me show you the back of these. We're not sure if we're going to do the backs of these on all of them. Or, can you guys see that? Can I see them, Brian?
Let's move the camera
Hold
here
on.
a little
Well,
bit.
you can also point out what's in the back so people.
Okay, stay right there. Perfect.
Okay.
So it says share your spare. There's a picture of a very handsome gentleman
Bald guy.
wearing glasses and a Mets hat because that's the greatest team alive. Mets go
As
Mets. a car, which is always what I'm talking about with my wife that she doesn't really want to talk about.
Look what your friends
But
did with the details on the car.
yeah, I mean, even look over here. That's a part that billboard is actually a screenshot of the website.
Yeah. But I'm
Um,
saying on the car it has 15. That's
15, which is my birthday. Yeah, I mean, and then the website at the bottom. I think they did a phenomenal job.
okay. Want to turn around?
Yep, you good.
Yeah,
A
this was really
phenomenal
extremely
job.
thoughtful. Is that still up?
Yeah, come here. Say.
Okay. I mean, this is an extra large. I'm swimming in it, but hey,
Amanda
it's all
says
good.
whoop.
Whoop
Whoop.
whoop.
Actually, that's whoop wop.
No,
Whoop
cause she
wop.
wop. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if she meant wop like
I mean, boy,
wop
whatever.
like the song.
Maybe her keyboard fell. I don't know.
Maybe she's busy with the kids.
Understatement.
Okay, so we will first say we apologize for not going live yesterday. It was definitely something we were just like, we weren't feeling it. So we didn't want to give you another meh. And I'm hoping we'll make up for it today a little bit. A little bit, at least. So forgive us. But we still posted something, at least to tell you guys. So hopefully that counts as going on social media.
We were live when we typed it.
That is true. That is true like that. Okay. So we updates, Brian.
Testing.
Oh wait, you told him that Brian's feeling better. He just has
Oh,
a lingering cough.
but
I know
it's
people were,
very minor.
yeah, very minor. I think everyone else is pretty good. I'm probably gonna go through and spray Lysol one more time on everything. Um,
Thanks
just
everybody for all their well wishes.
yes, thank you.
It's. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but it's kind of scary anytime. Even the flu, right? The
Mm-hmm.
flu is what, a viral infection,
Mm-hmm.
and we were hearing, RSV is out there, something else. Like I said earlier today, something else. Norovirus, and
the
then
flu,
flu, but
COVID.
they're all viral infections. And last
Yeah.
time I had, not last time I had, but the first time I had COVID, which is another viral infection, that's what put me into the hospital, and also put my condition from okay to worse, and moved up
To
the
this
timetable.
situation.
Moved up the timetable as to why I'm talking to all you beautiful people right now. So it was a little bit of a scary point, but I'm glad I was on the other side of it, and we attacked it, as fast as we could, So
Yeah. Um, which is wonderful. So now updates of where besides that. Okay.
what we did today.
Not I mean like in general. So recently we have seen another kidney transplant center. You forgot already?
Yeah.
Recently. So we are getting testing done. A lot of blood was drawn. I mean, Brian, you were like bleeding a lot after they put
Yeah, they stuck me
the
twice. They stuck me here, and she took like 7 or 8. And she stuck me there, and they took about
I think they did like
5 or 6.
yeah, they said like 21 vials.
No, it wasn't 21.
It was less than that.
I looked in the thing. It was probably like 15ish.
Wow, that's a lot of blood.
The most I've ever had is 25.
Wow.
I was like, "You're leaving in?"
I mean, so like they were taking blood and doing Brian's vitals and everything, which is good. They need the details of that. And what was actually very helpful is that because we ran and did. Wow, Brian, this is really early for a yawn.
I was still daylight out.
This was really early. Um, because we did a lot of the testing beforehand, like, as you guys know, this made it an easier process because he didn't have to stay and spend all the time going through getting cleared for a CT and for X-rays and
Treadmill.
the yeah, the stress test, Brian. That's what it is, stress test to get cleared for cardio. So, but yeah, we still ran through and we got to see the team. You meet your specific team, so we'll go through that quickly. We ended up meeting the transplant nephrologist, who goes through and kind of looks at your case, kidney wise, and kind of see where you're at.
All the metrics and all that lab work and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. You spend a good amount of time with them, and then you might see the dietitian, which they're gonna go through and explain like after post transplant what you shouldn't or cannot eat, and even now, like what you should be eating and what you should be staying away from. So we did tell the dietitian the stuff that we did know already, and she was just like, "Wow, I think we actually didn't." She say we told her stuff that she didn't know,
Correct.
like what was it? The sumac
Cherry juice
the cherry juice for
for
gout.
gout. Sumac instead of well, I gotta be mindful of salt, right? So I don't really add salt to things.
Yeah,
I used to do Mrs. Dash, but Mrs. Dash has a lot of phosphates.
I think so. I
Either
don't
phosphates
remember
or phosphorus, which isn't good.
for the kidneys as well.
Yeah. So
But I mean, luckily you haven't had any problems with those, so that's actually really good. But yeah. So that was kind of cool to hear that. Like, oh, we know a lot of information. I mean, we always feel like we can learn more, so we were definitely open to whatever she had to say. Do you think you learned anything new about the dietitian stuff?
um, but we talked more about the purines.
Mm-hmm.
So she sent some information on that, which is the whole once again the whole gout thing.
Yeah, we have to go through that
You know,
to see because Brian's trying to figure out if he can at least have some sushi beforehand.
anything. Oh yeah, because
Before,
after
as you guys know,
after anything raw, no good. So like I can't mess with undercooked eggs, obviously sushi, deli meats.
Oh yeah, so if he was to have deli meats, well, you shouldn't because of the high in salt,
Yeah.
but you'd have to cook them. They have to be warmed to burn whatever bacteria could be there.
Because they might have like
Listerine?
no,
Is that what she said? Not Listerine?
no,
No?
baby, Listerine
Well, what is it?
is the mouthwash. She said listeria.
Listeria, Listerine. You know, it's the same thing, right?
Oh man, they are different. That's the fourth time in our relationship that you made me laugh. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, so yeah, so it was good kind of finding out that information and cementing. I mean, what she did say, like a lot of the things that we are changing now, is good because it'll be stuck in us in terms of a habit,
Mm-hmm.
different than you just going cold turkey post, which might be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want to mess around, especially on post, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because it can end up you getting an infection, which is one of the major concerns with a transplant is getting an infection and then your body rejecting. So, so we saw that. We saw that dietitian. Who else did we see? We saw social work, which goes over all your social history, whether you drink and whether you smoke. And so we realized it was very interesting that they did say so smoke like so weed for example. I know we talked about this at one point in one of these live things that they're they are okay if you have edibles.
Yeah, no
This
smoking,
is wild.
but you can
But yeah, and then but you can't smoke at all prior and after. So I mean, like I guess their issue is like if somebody was a heavy smoker, they'll give them time to like stop smoking,
and
like
drinking.
now, to still be able to consider them as a candidate,
Me
but
too.
they won't approve you yet until you have been done with that. And
Yeah.
same with alcohol.
Yeah, drinker.
So the fact that like Brian is not a smoker at all, and we were honest. We're like, so what about an occasional drink? Like, just let's be real here.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they were asking like, oh, when you do drink, what do you have? Like four or five? I'm like one.
Yeah. Brian's like 1 to 2 every month,
Yeah,
maybe.
I drink very socially. You know,
Yeah,
so-
socially. Yeah, but some
Because think
people's
about too,
socials.
but
it's-
think about too, people when they go out, they drink, and Brian doesn't go out. So you
yeah,
know,
but even when you go out, you're not a drinker like that. But
like,
some
I
people
might have a
that's-
drink with something. I don't go like to a bar and like just go to drink. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's what I'm
like,
saying. For some people's social settings is that's it's go to a bar.
Yeah.
You know, so but that's kind of like interesting to hear about that. And I'm trying to think what else. Oh, social worker was asking about, you know, who would be the caregivers. 'Cause they want the caregivers to be able to be available for taking him to and from appointments at post transplant. But even prior, they require the caregiver to come with you to the appointment, just so that they're hearing the same information at the same time as the recipient.
because sometimes the patient tunes some things out. So it's good to have somebody here that helps out because it's difficult kind of hearing a lot of this stuff, right?
It is. I mean, it's a lot of think about it. You're hearing words like kidney failure. You're hearing words like dialysis and oh, your kidneys are functioning at this. Oh, it's gonna expand your life, like your lifespan. Like
Yeah.
what? Like
And
like you're
then-
talking very like
scientific, which are
But not
they're supposed to. In
But
the
not even
medical field.
scientific. I just feel like it's very I'm not gonna say morbid, it's not the right word I'm looking for, but something.
Regimented.
No, that's not the right word either. I don't know.
But I mean, if you also think about it, I mean, to the individual who's saying it, and I'm not saying that they're not um, um, positive, supportive people, but the individual saying it might be the fifth time they're saying it today.
Yes.
When for me, it's
The first
it's
time you could have
it's
heard it.
but it's my whole world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're living it.
It's my whole being here. So
I think that's I think when people work in the industry, sometimes they forget
yeah,
because they do this every day, all day, and it's like, no big deal to them to hear these numbers, to hear these words, and whereas to family and the recipient, Brian, we're like, wait, what?
yeah. When you see something that says 97% success rate, beautiful.
Yes.
But that means there's a 3% out there.
Yes, yes.
Don't get me wrong. 97% is better than 3%.
Yes.
But yet and still, that 3% were people that didn't make it.
Didn't make it. Something, or the graft didn't make it. Oh, what's the graft means? The kidney.
They didn't take. There was complications during this.
For whatever reason.
During the recipient surgery.
Yeah. So I mean, so social work went through all that. They also went through. They ask about your mental health. They ask about whether or not have you ever thought about hurting yourself or hurting somebody else.
Yeah.
What else with the mental health stuff?
You talk about the drugs. Talk about that.
They ask you about
any abuse.
Yeah, if you're being abused.
Yeah.
Or.
The also home life, like what is your home life like? Are you like, do you have stairs? What type of home are you in? Single home or like an apartment area? Do you have any dogs? Do you have any pets or anything like that too?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they want to kind of see post transplant, like, are you okay to be home?
Yes. So I also think that it would determine when they discharge you as well.
Yeah.
Like, as from a therapist perspective, we're looking at, okay, the stairs coming in. Is it a flight of stairs that we have to be able to get you to go up somehow to get you in the house? Or is it a step? Or no step?
Why did you say from a therapist?
Therapist?
What does that mean?
Well, I'm an occupational therapist, but
and what is an occupational therapist?
That's way too complicated to get into right now, so we're not even going to go there.
It means all these books behind me.
Yes. Way too complicated. This is not about me, so let's leave it at that.
Touche.
So, so I think that's a big piece of it. And also, like you said, like they ask.
Hopefully everything's okay with teeth.
Oh, is she okay?
My girl
Ariana?
Teeth. My girl Teeth.
Baby. So they also want to know, like, for example, when you in the house, like, is your bedroom on the first floor? Do you have a bathroom on the first floor? Because you might not be able to go up and down the stairs.
Yeah.
Potentially. We don't know. It depends on, like, I guess how you do after surgery.
And would you say, like, you can't lift more than 10 pounds, nothing more than, like, a jug of milk?
Yes. That for a month.
And you shouldn't drive.
For a month.
Yeah.
So you'll get cleared. That kind of reminds me of basically being pregnant, like, well, postpartum. Having C-section. You're not allowed to pick up anything heavier than the baby, which would be about 10 pounds. Well, not our babies. They were small. They were 5. They were both of them were 5 pounds. What was that? 10 ounces?
9.
Was it 9 ounces? Well, now
8. 5 pound 8.
I don't know. No, it wasn't 8. So 5 pounds 9 ounces. It wasn't 8 for sure. So don't pick anything up heavier than the baby, which is basically what Brian's gonna have to keep, be aware of, and you won't probably be able to do it. So it's not something like you're gonna jump in to go do that, which is good. Past that, let's see what else. Oh, who else did we see? That was social work. Was there anything else with social work? Who else did we see? We saw the transplant coordinator, who that's your go-to person, pretty much, if you have any questions, if you have to get in contact with anybody within that facility. What are you looking for?
I was looking for the weight.
The what?
The weight.
The weight?
Yeah, the weight of the kid.
He's trying to, like, legit find out the exact.
5'10", you're right.
5'10". Okay. So 5'10". But there was one thing that I do want to discuss before we get into some other stuff, is that when we were with the nephrologist told us this stuff, right?
Oh, which part?
The KDPI? Yes.
Yes.
So nephrology, this is interesting. So when nephrology meets with you or met with Brian, they go through and explain everything, right? About the kidneys, about you finding a potential living donor, how that process goes. Um, what about like a deceased donor, the wait time, which of course they wanted to reiterate that the wait times for deceased donors are about 8 years at their facility, which is not good. Since we all know Brian has collapsing FSGS, and we were told in October that he'll be in complete kidney failure within 4 to 6. Within 6 to 12 months. And what is this, month 4? I don't know. I can't do the math right now. It's too much.
October, November, December, January,
February, so we're month 5. So, um, which is crucial as to why we are doing this and are looking for our living kidney donors. So that way we are trying hard not to have Brian go on dialysis at all. We know how hard, from talking to other people that are on dialysis and doing our research and hearing from doctors, it is a hard process. It is not easy. And a lot of people just say, "Go on, can't Brian just go on dialysis?" Going on dialysis means Brian's hooked up to a machine,
whether it
to
be
a wall.
home, whether it be home, where you're hooked up all every day, or you go to a center where you're hooked up 3 times a week, for three
For,
to 5 hours,
yes.
and then also
Imagine working. Like
yeah,
working. When do you work a 9 to 5?
helping you out
Right?
with the kid. You know what I mean?
Helping out with the kids. When do you go grocery shopping? When do you? I mean, and then from hearing about people that go on dialysis, they're extremely exhausted.
That's 9 to 15 hours out of your week. You know.
Yeah. I mean, and just the risk of how exhausted they are overall. I mean, it just.
And then also, sorry to interrupt you, but then
Fine.
also, people who are on dialysis and then have a kidney transplant actually live less time than the people that
Yes.
do not that skip dialysis altogether.
So people that do not have to go on dialysis do a lot better. So the shorter amount of time you're on dialysis, or none at all, which is the ideal, um, you are going to do better with your kidney transplant, which is why we are so like. Yes, we are going through with all this process in case we need to do the kidney, deceased kidney donor, but we are really hoping and putting out there in the universe and like just wishing for potential kidney donors that are going to come forward, hopefully, and be good matches for Brian. But we did hear recently from, I don't know where you heard this about the 30, and nobody was.
That was ex coworker. I think she said her nephew was looking for a kidney donor. Younger dude, probably like 20s or something like that. 30 people came forward, and all 30 were not a match.
It's like, imagine that. So even though we might have one or two, they could be great matches. We don't know, or they could be none at all. So, which is why we're not giving up to look for our living kidney donors, and we're hoping that you will even consider being one for us.
Appreciate it.
I mean, yes, we absolutely appreciate it. It's a big decision. You know, it is a piece of you that you're giving away. Luckily, it doesn't impact your life, your life expectancy, your day to day life. There's no restrictions of anything.
You bounce back like a rubber band.
Yeah, it's true. People are back to work within days. And you know, we're just promoting it because until, for me, Brian, until you've had that surgery, the transplant, and you are home in this house again, I'm looking for a donor.
Yeah.
That's literally what my life is come down to, is looking for a donor. Um,
And we appreciate everybody. I mean, this is not something that is scheduled, and we know everybody's
what do you
taking
mean
the
schedule?
time in terms of what scheduled. Like, I mean, like when we were speaking to our nephrologist prior to last year, we knew that the eventual
Oh yeah.
portion would be that we would need one, but we were talking decades.
Mhm.
We weren't talking days.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, everybody's been fantastically supportive and stuff like that, and we need your continued support. You know,
Yes.
we need you guys. You know.
And like support. I mean, even like just if you know somebody, just spreading our word, and we'll go into how you can help later. But
We'll do our 3 at the end.
yeah, yeah. But just all of that, just to try to help us find a living kidney donor, and um, is crucial. So like during this appointment with nephrology, one of the things she mentioned was, during like deceased kidneys, was you have to give consent for higher risk kidneys. So they have this thing called, was it KDPI. I think that's the one.
Nerd.
Yeah, KDPI, which stands for Kidney Donor Profile Index. So basically, it's a score from 0 to 100, where they will tell you. So let's say Brian gets a call for a deceased donor, right? And they're going to tell him, okay, this has a KDPI score of 90. Now, higher numbers are actually worse kidneys, worse, I put that in quotes, and lower numbers are better. So a 90 would not.
What is better or worse mean?
Okay, so like for example, um, 0 to 20% like of KDPI percentage would mean like 11-year function time for
That's what I'm
that kidney. For 21 to 85%, which are where most of the deceased kidneys fall under, it's usually about a 9-year function time. And then this is what I do want to bring up is about over 85%. This is where you have to sign consent. It's about a 5-year lifespan time with these kidneys, but that those are considered high risk. So we were like, okay, what does this include? Because we've heard about some of this when we were with NYU a little bit, but with this transplant center, we wanted to learn more. And Brian had to sign consent whether or not he agreed or disagreed to being eligible or
possibly
wanting that one. Do you want to
Sure.
discuss like how like what she went through regarding?
Yeah, to go that deep.
Okay, so anyway, so basically um it's considered like an underutilized kidney. So those are the kidneys that people don't necessarily want. They're not the best, like the cleanest, let's say.
And,
So
and long lasting.
yes. So like I'm before we joined this, I was looking up. I'm like, let me get some more information about this, so like at least I can explain a little better. I'm hoping this makes sense. But there's several types of kidneys. There's the living donor, which can be from somebody you know or somebody you don't know, anonymous donor. And those donors, either one of them, can be a part of a paired exchange program or a voucher program.
Hmm.
We do go in, I'm not going to go into that now, but we do have some videos that we've talked about paired exchange and voucher, but we will go and do another video again about that. The other type of kidney is a deceased donor kidney. So we know somebody passed away, a head injury, car accident, anything, whatever, and that's the deceased. But then there's also the category called underutilized kidney, and this is when you have a kidney donor profile index above 85%. So you have people might consider these kidneys if you're a harder to match patient. You want to shorten the time on the wait list of for deceased donors because maybe you want to shorten the time you're on dialysis because again being having a kidney is better than being on dialysis. You'll do better, you have more energy, um, but it is a less than perfect kidney, and that's something to consider. So like they have two main under dialysis kidneys, right? So you have the high um, kidney donor profile index, which is what we talked about, and the increased risk of disease kidney. So basically, what happens is the increased risk of disease would include like a donor that has hepatitis C or that has that overdose on drugs, like like I was reading that it's increased opioids, so that they're finding a lot of donors being having opioid addiction or overdosing on that. So they're having a lot more donors in that category, but that would be increased risk of disease kidney, but that would be considered an underutilized, but you might want that because it's like, you know what, okay, that's not really going to affect me. Or this hepatitis C, which we do know from NYU, is that they give you medication if they know that's going to be what you're going to have. They give you medication prior or even during so that you don't get hepatitis C transmitted to you, which I thought was kind of cool. But the benefits of utilizing an underutilized kidney would be that, again, it's faster. You're getting a kidney faster if you really need one. If you're at high risk, you've been on, let's say you've been waiting for a long time, you were unable to find living kidney donors, or you were found living kidney donors and nobody's a match. So you might open yourself up to this, what's the, open up this pool
To
of kidneys,
yeah, yeah, pool,
right?
yeah.
Um, but they also said they do function well and for a long time. So that's the thing. It's like they are functioning well. Well, they last long, but they're last shorter than one that is not high in diseases and stuff like that. Their rate of rejection is about the same, and they typically are about the same functioning level as a typical kidney. So I thought that was like interesting to kind of hear about that. Um, because I know they throw out these acronyms, and it's like, what is this KDPI? Like what? And
What did you say to me?
yeah, and I remember reading or hearing, maybe no, it was in one of the groups I joined, and somebody was talking about it, and I remember hearing them say KDPI, and I'm like, what? And I forgot to look this up. So funny that we heard this at this transplant center again, and I'm like, this is good for us to understand, so that way, if this comes up, even with a potential living kidney, they're going to come up with the KDPI is this because they have the health history. And that's where the benefit comes in from this. You're going to know the person's age, their height, their weight, their health history prior. So this is why they come up with this number. And they'll give you this number basically tells you how long these kidneys are potentially going to last. So that goes with the potential living kidney donor as well. Like, okay, this is a really good match to you. This is a KDPI, I mean, of, I don't know, let's say 2, which would be great. So it's like, wow, this could last for 40 years or whatever, you know. So I thought that was good to know. And I'm sure, with living kidney donors, the sites that you go to are going to make sure they pick the best one
Yeah.
of what's available. So that was,
Because most of the centers that were,
your
excuse
throat
me,
has been like this all like for a while. Last 2 days,
yeah,
you've been clearing your throat a lot.
I drink a lot of water.
You need to, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but most of the centers that we are in conversations with have the Kidney for Life program, so they do a litany of different tests because they're not only trying to get somebody a kidney, they're trying to get somebody a kidney and not have to see them again. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's a lot of different testings and stuff like that for just the organ itself.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. It's a lot, Brian. I mean,
a lot of information. Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, I just feel like so I'm gonna step outside of the information for right now, and I want to like mention people see us, and I think on these live videos, and they see us always smiling and laughing and making jokes and just being silly, which is who we are. We try to find a positive in life, and I think a lot of outcome stuff based things come based on how you perceive it and how your motto and your energies you're putting into it. So that's what you see from us. But
Because one thing my wife always says is put it in the universe, right? So
mhm.
it's kind
but
of what it is.
but it is hard. I mean, like it definitely like all of this definitely affects your life. Like Brian, when they said to you for the first time
Back in '05.
that you have kidney disease, or even now, even October, when they said you're going to be in kidney failure in 6 to 12 months, like what did you feel?
I had to pull the car over. I was a driver at the time. Um, it's an interesting question because back in '05 when I initially got the diagnosis of it, it was weird because I'm young, like you know what I mean, like usually this stuff happens to more mature population, right?
Hmm.
But through the 20 years I've had it, it's just like okay, it's been a part of me, right?
Hmm.
Um, it's been what's the term that our nephrologist used, acquiescent. It's been quiet, right? We've been able to manage it with the medication, being mindful of intake and such. Um, but knowing that it's now accelerated to that point, when I heard that, I was taken aback. It is when your mortality is put into question, it is a very difficult conversation. And I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my daredevil age when when I thought I was invincible. I mean, now I have a wife, I have kids, I have people who are dependent on me, You know what I mean? From so many different levels. So the minute I heard that, I thought about you and the kids, right?
Well, that's
Um,
now, I guess, right, the kidney failure part.
the kidney failure part,
Yeah.
because that's a question that you asked.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I?
so
Okay, sorry.
yeah, so like I said, when immortality is in question, it's a difficult conversation to have because you're thinking now. I mean, we have numbers, we have all this testing, but every day is optional, right? So it's just like it's a bit scary when you think about it. I'll be honest, it's a bit scary.
I feel like when I first heard about being in kidney failure in October, I just remember first being in shock, and I was just like, I didn't know what to feel at the moment. Like I didn't know, like, what do I ask? What questions do I ask? I think I said to him like, okay. I'm like, okay. When we read about it being collapsing FSGS, kidney failure between 6 to 12 months, I just remember being like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
What are our options? What does this mean? Instantly, I remember like saying to somebody, I'm like, does this mean I'm losing my husband? That's what I literally went to, Brian. I was like, am I losing my husband? Like, no, this is no, like, absolutely not. And then you go through like just all things like, is he not going to be here for the girls? I don't know if you went through that, like that kind of.
I mean, and I mean, not to state the obvious, but obviously, literally being weeks after I lost my dad,
Yeah.
pretty, pretty tragically. I mean, we found out about dad's diagnosis in February,
I think it was like this, like
and
this weekend or something, right around this time.
it was
Or
the end. Yes, because it was the end
it was early February.
of January, so it was early February a year
Yeah.
ago. We found out about his diagnosis, and he joined the Stars in September.
Well,
Um, August.
August.
August. I'm sorry. He joined the Stars in August. Um, and he left us early. I mean, the man was 73 years old. He's a baby, healthy as ever. He missed out for 20 years, right? So instantly he left, not willingly, but he left his two kids
Mm-hmm.
here, and I'm like, I can't leave my two kids. I mean, his two kids are in their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
My two kids are not even
Teens.
not even out of the twos.
Babies. They're still
I
considered
mean,
babies. Toddlers. They're
one,
babies.
yeah, one was just one, and one was two.
But think about it, they're still learning how to talk.
So learn how to talk. The younger ones just learn how to walk now.
Yeah, literally just walking.
And I know how it is to grow up with a father that is present.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
Not from the willingness aspect, but from work too. I mean, people,
Mm-hmm.
in this country, you can't not work. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of dual working parents and such, and especially when my father opened up his own business, he was present.
Mm-hmm.
He was there for us, whether it be for cooking, for cleaning, for taking us to different events and stuff like that, taking us to games. You know what I mean?
But
It was
that's
just
how you are. Like, I mean, I know you're talking about your father, and I agree. Like, your father is that man. But Brian, you're just the same. Granted, you're not taking them to their hockey practice yet,
yeah,
but yet. But we are taking Ayana to swimming.
yeah,
You're taking her to
dance,
dance. You
dance.
did dance classes. I mean, you're involved. You're the only guy in dance class.
Yeah,
When I'm sitting with Savannah when she was younger,
this is
you
very
know,
true.
you're the only guy in dance class. You are the father, and you're very much involved. So, like for me, it was just like, what? Like I think it was fear because it's like, what does this mean? And even now, I think we have a better hold on what's going on, but it's still like what the guy said today. What the guy said at the
Where he said the kidney transplant is not a cure; it's treatment.
it's a treatment.
We didn't
And
speak
he
up
said it would
about.
extend your life expectancy or
We
something like that.
we didn't speak up, but we respectfully disagree with that. Because to the point that it's the luck of the draw, yes, but there's a cohort of my wife's that I believe one of their family members got a kidney and they're 40 years strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's all in the pre-testing and how you take care of it, and there's a lot of factors involved for the longevity of the kidney itself,
Yes,
right?
and I guess because he's saying based on like just it being kidney disease, and you
Correct.
don't know, and every kidney disease is different.
Correct.
So
Because it could be something that spread.
yes, it could
It could
be.
be sitting there waiting in your kneecap. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
you don't know.
I don't know. Kidney disease is not
Yeah,
gonna be your kneecap,
you know what I
but let's
mean.
keep this. I mean,
Um, but yeah, no, it's the you have a lot of unanswered questions.
I just remember like I'm trying to think back when like we heard those words. I remember I couldn't function. I remember staying in bed. Do you remember that? And I was sleeping. My
You
parents had to take
yeah,
care of the girls more because I couldn't.
you disconnected.
I just I didn't have the energy. I had low energy
Yeah.
because I was so upset hearing this news. And here we are, also, the girls are right there. And I'm like, I can't let them, I don't want them to feel
Yeah.
this, like, sadness. And I'm upset that you have to go through this. We have to go. I mean, and your body's going through it. It's nothing you can control. And, but also, like, I'm going through it with you. Like, I feel like it's me that has this too.
With me every step of the way.
Like, I'm just not getting poked, but, but almost. I would give it if I
Mm.
could. I think that's what makes it really hard is
Sometimes you have to push the face, even though it's not.
with the kids.
It's not your actual. Especially with the kids, because our kids are so tuned in emotionally.
Yes,
Um, um,
they feel you. They
yeah.
like Ayana will ask you. She's asked me, "Mommy, you
I want to go with doctor.
okay?"
I want to go to doctor.
She wants to go to doctor
Yeah.
with Daddy. Um, when like even just like the times that you've had to go to the doctor, Brian. Like even this, like going so often and so much. Ayana has asked, Doctor, Daddy, is he okay? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how do you? I'm like, Daddy's okay. I'm like, he has to
Oh,
go to the doctor, get
she wants
checked.
to hand out flyers, but she calls them fryers.
Friars. Yeah, she wants to help. And it's just our. I feel like yes, this will make them stronger children, like human beings.
Yeah.
I think later in life, but it's also you don't want to take away their innocence. So it's like here we are also.
You're a kid for just so long,
I know, and
and
it's
then you
quick.
have to be an adult forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's and they're affected by it too, because I'm having to be a recluse because of my immunodeficiency, right? And they're not able to go be out with their friends, especially in the wintertime, to be out with their friends who are going to the museum or some type of indoor play and stuff like that, because they might come home with something that would
take
zero
could
zero
take
me
him
out,
out,
zero me out. Yeah,
like literally, like kill him.
yeah,
And not that anyone said that we shouldn't, but we look at the risk,
yeah.
and to me, it's not worth it.
And see what I mean.
Risk
Reiterating
or
what
reward.
true. Reiterating what we said earlier about what COVID did.
Yeah,
Literally, that's what COVID did. You know what
that's
I
what
mean? So
COVID did. And look what, like, one moment he's fine, the next he's in the hospital, and now we're being told you have to find a kidney
that your
to
kidneys were
survive.
at 20% functionality then, 20% functionality, and you need something to
To survive.
keep going. Oh
And like, I just, I
yeah.
at some point, I'm hoping we will find a living kidney donor prior to this, but some point it gets to the point, like every time he goes to his nephrology appointment, the nephrologist is always asking, how are you feeling? And it's not just like, oh, I'm good, and that's how Brian will respond, but I know what he's asking. It's like he's wondering, how's your energy level? Because as your kidney function, and you probably don't know any better because you probably have never had a high kidney function to know like energy,
So
but
like when we first started dating, we'd be on the phone talking, and
um,
I'd just all of a sudden fall asleep.
he's falls asleep. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, hello,
So
hello.
like I mean, obviously we didn't realize at the time,
Well,
but it, since I've had this condition since birth, that's the reason as to why probably I get tired so quickly. Because that's the way the lower functioning kidneys can affect you.
and that's like I
So
was
yeah,
gonna say, like that's why like your doctor's always asking, like as his kidneys are functioning less, he's going to be more tired. You have less energy. Your body is unable to work efficiently, and this is how like people end up getting on dialysis is because they need their kidneys are not filtering
Yeah.
at all. But again, like you're locked up to a machine. That machine is basically keeping you alive,
Yeah.
and that's what that is. It's like being on a vent or a trach. That machine is keeping you alive.
Literally.
Um, but and like just having a transplant and having a living donor, it would give you freedom. It would give you freedom to not be stuck to a wall, to not be going to the centers, to not feel it's low energy, to be able to play with your
To be
kids and
with
not
you.
feel like you're
To be with
tired.
the kid, yeah.
I mean, I just remember like, and I don't, it didn't really stick with me, and I guess it didn't hit me because I don't think Brian, unfortunately, I don't. You're such a no. Fortunately, you're a positive person, but because of that, I think you to put a wall up to learning more about what was going on. So I did, and I don't think I ever knew the actual name of it.
And you are comforted by information.
I need information to.
I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah, he doesn't want. He goes, I don't know, and I'm like, tell me everything, so I can be. I'm gonna feel whatever I'm gonna feel, and then I'm gonna say, okay, how do we handle this and move forward? So like, I didn't know that we were dating in the beginning, So like for me, it was
Because I didn't
you didn't
I
tell.
didn't I didn't voice it. I
No,
mean, and that's mainly, I mean, from my mindset, it's um, deference, or whatever the term is, but also it's like my diagnosis isn't
you,
me.
which is good.
You know what I mean? I'm diagnosed with something, but
Yeah,
my diagnosis isn't me.
I think it's a good.
So
I think it's a good
mantra, mission,
like view, perspective.
POV.
Because I think that's what's gonna help you get through a transplant. And I think that's why they keep asking because it's probably. People say it's very emotional, like, and it could be a negative thing for people. But I think for you, it actually would be a very positive, like, you'd be feeling very grateful, and like a new lease
I'm
of
not a
life.
person to ask for help, so it's very difficult
This
for
is
me.
hard
It's very
for both of
difficult.
us. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't ask for help. We are not the people to ever. You would never know something was wrong.
We are the people that people ask for
Yes,
help.
we're the ones that jump in.
I'll drop everything on the drop of a dime if somebody I truly care about, a friend, not even a stranger.
Oh my gosh, I
Remember
remember that time we were at the mall in the park. Is that the one you're gonna say?
there was that Russian lady who could not find her car. We
She
see
looked.
her in the parking lot just fretting.
Yeah, she was so, and this is at Roosevelt Field, a
Yeah.
big mall, big parking lot. She didn't know where she parked, and she was just like upset. You can
Yeah.
see it. And
I remember
we were
we
dating.
approached her. Yeah, and like it's just we just went into quick mode. It wasn't like, oh, should we went into
We went
quick
into.
mode.
Is everything okay?
Where's your car? What color is your car? Like,
Yes.
do you remember any other cars around it? Like we eventually found her Nissan Maxima.
Oh,
Yeah,
the fact that you remember that. I don't remember what car it
car
was.
nerd, buddy.
I just remember we found
Car
it and
nerd.
helped her.
Yeah,
Um,
but it wasn't like a thing of like we were looking for handouts. It wasn't like we are helping people.
yeah,
That's just who we are.
Um,
So for us to be on the flip side,
it's humbling.
It is humbling. It totally is humbling. And I'm glad we haven't ostracized ourselves
Ostracize ourselves
from
from
people.
everybody. I mean, because we need our. Thank goodness. Thanks, friends, family, acquaintances. Thank you.
You know what I mean?
We appreciate. I mean, we kind of have to some, but not all. But because we are very private
Yeah.
as well. We're very private people. We, like you said, like Brian said, we don't put everything out there. A lot of people who has worked with Brian have no idea, and I've gotten texts because I've been letting people know to spread the word, in regarding what's going on, Brian, to try to find help and who would want to be a kidney donor, and people have texted me back that I don't know who they are. That Brian's like coworkers or friends or acquaintances that have said, "Oh my goodness, I worked with Brian for X amount of years, and I had no idea that he was going through this," because they read the story on our page, kidney4bt.com.
Good one.
Right, that was good.
Good one. Good one.
And I was like, yeah, like that's Brian. You would have no idea. Brian is not gonna put his struggles onto somebody else. He's gonna jump in and help you.
With your struggles.
Your struggles instantly. And now it's hard because unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to donate to you. And that's the first thing we did when we were there. I was like, what do I need to do? Like, take this kidney now, and I'm not eligible to be able to donate, and that sucks because again, we would not be asking anybody else. If it was me, no one would even know until you had to have a transplant. We'd be like, okay, let's get this done.
I had a transplant last week. What? What?
Yeah, pretty much. You're like, wait, hold up. I remember like when I like just similar like how because we're so private. I remember when I had my gallbladder removed. Literally, that I think I had it removed on like a Monday. We got back, not you, my family and their friends, because we just started dating, from a cruise, and they found out like the next day, like, oh, Tamara was in surgery. They're like, what do you mean? What happened? And they were all like, you didn't say anything. You didn't tell me. And I was like, well, I'm like, it was just my gallbladder. Like I didn't want to worry anybody, and I didn't want that to be the focus. And that's, I just, I hate that I can't give you one. Like, I wish I could, you know? Like, I know it's not a guaranteed, but it's looking like that more so because of my blood pressure not being stable, and that's not they wouldn't want for somebody that has hypertension.
But
And that's because of
exactly.
and this is not like, oh, she doesn't take care of herself. It was my blood pressure was
Phenomenal.
textbook perfect prior to having
I mean, she got pregnant twice.
and prior to having the first baby, and I ended up getting preeclampsia. And with some people, it goes away. Others, it stays,
Lingers.
and your blood pressure is what it is. So now here I am fighting with blood pressure, and that puts me in a high risk category. Not a first choice, not a second choice, maybe a third, maybe, to even be considered for, a donor for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like I can only offer I can't make anybody offer theirs.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not gonna ask specifically anybody to offer theirs. I can't do that to somebody because it is a big ask. I would need somebody to like, and I think you feel this the same way. I need somebody to like want to come forward and do this
Yeah.
and feel compelled from within themselves to be like, I want to help. I can help. I not someone that feels like I have to.
No.
Like I don't want someone.
You're choosing to. Obviously, it's optional, but it'll keep me on the rails. You know.
Yeah, it just has. I mean, like you just having a transplant to me, it's gonna have a big impact.
They're life changing. I
It
mean,
is.
because not only to the point of keep the train going, but I'm actually going to have a a correctly functioning kidney.
Yes.
In 41 years, I've never had that.
And just to be able to like as the girls get older, I mean, and understand like playing with you and roughhousing. Like the other day, Ayana jumped on Daddy's
Oh,
back
Jesus
here
Christ.
and
A
pretended,
horse.
and he was a horse. The 2-year-old was on his back leg, and I'm over here like, come on, I gotta say, get up, horsey, and like you know. Brian is just standing there like, oh gosh, but I'm sure with more energy you would have been crawling around with her, being a lot more engaging if you could be.
Yeah. And all these success stories that we're hearing, I want to be a success story.
I need you to be a success story.
I want to be a success.
I just, but I don't know. It's just hard because it's literally this disease. Like it is impacted like daily life though, and I don't think people understand or know how it is impacted. Like you, me, like for example, Brian was sick with the flu. To everybody else, it's oh okay, you're sick with the flu, get better. To me, I instantly went into panic mode. Instantly, like, oh my gosh, we're gonna end up in the hospital because
Anything.
anytime Brian has ever gotten sick with a fever, we have ended up in the hospital, and we have been told he is septic. We have been told we don't know what's going on with him. We have been told now he has macrophage activation syndrome. Like we have been told it all, and it's never just like how I have a cold, cough, cough, take some medicine and be fine. It's this man's life is at risk. And so I feel like these these viral infections have caused this for you with COVID, like we said, and here it goes. His kidneys are taking effect, which is a vital organ, which is affecting other organs. Just think about like because his kidneys are affected, he can't take like you can't take Advil.
Ever since 2005, when my first diagnosis, the only pain relievers that I can take is Tylenol.
Yeah.
No Motrin, no Aleve, no Advil.
And like just, but think about like now you have to take Tylenol, which is filtering through your liver, so your liver is doing more work. You know, so like yes, there's another option, but now it takes away.
From something else.
Yes, now his liver is working harder. You know, and it's just it's that kind of stuff that from your day to day. Look, this is you on what 2 or 3 already, and this is
No, five.
5.
Yeah,
Really?
you were talking on the other ones.
Okay. Oh, and it's 5 o'clock. All right, almost
Five on
5 o'clock. Yeah.
five.
You know, like just I'm trying to think of like what other daily things that I can give an example because it's hard because like people are not here. They're not a fly on the wall to see how you are day to day. Um, Brian's not a napper because he's a go guy. He's a one of the guys you can call and be like he's like I'm there for you. You know, he's the guy that his friends would call if they need a ride to the airport. He would show up and be there. He's that guy.
So I'm sitting there waiting.
Yeah, or offer the ride to go. But I think I would be concerned, like if it was a late pickup for his friend at the airport. I'd think, oh my god, Brian, did you sleep? You need to take a nap. Like even the times where you had baseball and you had to go to Jersey, and you had to go really early in the morning or really late at
3
night.
o'clock in the morning.
I was like, again, simple things that normally other people would be like, oh, okay, let me know when you get there. I'm petrified. I'm petrified for the fact that as soon as Brian doesn't have enough sleep, his immune system's lower. His immune system being lower causes him to be able to get more infections. Him getting an infection equals him having a fever, which equals him in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that's literally the progression of all of it. And Brian and I have been together for almost 15 years. So I've seen a lot of it.
Really?
Well, almost in October.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of it. We've been married for coming up on 10. 10. 10. 10. I'm thinking 15, but 10.
5 times
10,
2.
10. And so I've seen a lot of it. I've been through it, and I've seen like how this is, I don't know, has progressed over time. And luckily, we've been able to pinpoint, um, like if Brian's stressed. Like I always think about like certain things that are going to be stressful for you.
She can see it. I mean, I'm similar to me not voicing out in the world. I try not to voice to her as well because I don't want her to stress. But I can't hide it.
I'm an empath.
She cracks the shell and she knows exactly what's going on.
And if he's stressed, and some, you know, a lot of times you're really good about expressing it. At some point, after I nag him enough, he'll express it. But you have to do the same thing to me. I would be like, nothing's wrong, and you'd have to nag me, and then I would. We're the same way, so we understand that. But the stress causes, again, as you, I'm sure a lot of you know, and if you don't know, stress causes your immune system to be weakened and opens it up to being susceptible to infection diseases just because it's not fighting it. And now, on top of him having in his system macrophage activation syndrome, and I'll quickly like summarize, basically that means is his body wants to attack itself if it gets sick. So he has to act quickly. And luckily we are really good and we are on it with his doctors with this flu. That's what I'm saying. Like with the flu, somebody could go to an urgent care, get a Tamiflu, and be done.
Yeah.
We had to contact nephrology, rheumatology, the primary, just to figure out what to do.
Yeah, because I can't just take medication because who knows how it will affect. Well, I mean, it obviously will get to the kidneys. You know what I mean? You can't get around it. So to the point that when I went to the urgent care, they gave me 75 milligrams of it, but that is a lethal dose for somebody with chronic kidney disease.
So if he took that, this would be a whole different story.
Been a different life.
Either he's on dialysis right now, who potentially, I mean, we don't know.
Or worse.
Worse, and hopefully that wouldn't be the case, but.
We're tuned in with our hospital with our providers, our doctors, that we reached out to them, and all 3 that we spoke to said nope. You have to have it adjusted for CKD, chronic kidney disease. So.
Yeah, just you have to have a kidney dosage, renal dosage for this medicine, and just like knowing that like you have to be seen. Luckily, we have really those 3 are amazing.
So communicative. Yeah.
Amazing. Our primary doctor, he has her cell phone number, and she says text me because she knows how crucial his
Time.
time, because that's what it is. And his rheumatologist responds all the time.
So
Will
good.
call us. We've been on the phone with him for an hour multiple times, and that it's from not from us asking questions necessarily, but him giving information and wanting to make sure we understand.
He gives you all pieces of information. You barely have any questions to ask that man.
You don't, but like, and then the that's that. And then the nephrologist who responds to emails anytime at night, like 10 o'clock at
He
night
was on vacation.
in Italy, and responded while Brian was in the hospital and responded to us.
He's
'Cause
like,
we-
you just email me. I got you.
And I felt comforted knowing that he was there. And like with the rheumatology, just something that we learned this time. So we knew Brian, we need to take tests to find out what it is. So we got home tests. What people do. We had a COVID test, came out negative, whatever. We did the flu thing, came out negative, but he's still sick. Primary was like, maybe it's strep, but you need to go in and get tested. And we went in and they retested him, and it was the flu.
Yeah.
So
A day later.
rheumatology explained to us, they're like, okay, it's
Home test no good.
you can take the home test, but you need to also go in. The home test is like at night. Maybe you couldn't get to a doctor right away, but you still need to go in because these tests, it's time. If a lot of time happens, his that gives his body time to start
Fighting itself.
fighting, and then we're in the hospital, and who knows? And macrophage activation syndrome is a potentially life-threatening disease, and that petrifies me because I'm petrified to like go out the house and do things. I don't know how, like I was saying like to somebody, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to reintegrate into the world in like spring and summer. I don't know if I'm, because even though you're outside and that's great, but it's like, oh, this was end of July when you got COVID.
Yeah.
So it makes it hard, you know. It makes it hard. What do you?
Good.
I'm distracted.
Because we're frozen on Instagram, so I'm letting the people know if they're still here.
We're still here. Maybe it's just like slow on our end, hopefully. But yeah, so I'm petrified. It's hard. I mean, right now we're isolated, like we said. It's hard for the kids. Like Ayana has said to me how she misses swimming. We were talking about dancing at some point, and she's like, she wants to go dancing, like be in dance class.
That
and
hits me.
Right?
That hits me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like typically we'd be like, oh my gosh, yes. I would usually be complaining to you like, Ayana has such a busy schedule. She's seeing this friend and this friend. We're doing this. My life is revolved around their social stuff, and like even just like how they had to miss a birthday party. There's another birthday party they just got invited to, and I'm not sure when it is yet. I haven't checked anything, but it's potential that they might not be able to go because of risk. And I mean, granted, I know it's worth not putting you at risk or us at risk or them at risk for this situation because we need you healthy to be able to have this transplant. So I understand that, and you know, I think like the kids would obviously agree. They want you here versus not here. That's for sure. But still, it doesn't make it any easier, you know, to know like, wow, we want our kids to be out. Like, I'm in a mom group, right? In a mom group, they're talking about like, oh, you know, they're going to a play place or they're going to the park right now, and I'm just like, I can't even respond to be like, oh yeah, we'll join, and we could be available, but it's like we can't go. We can't go. You know, with sick kids, especially now, and that's I mean, like, what changes in the spring and the summer is that you're not gonna have norovirus in your face everywhere.
You could be outside, not in a closed environment, enclosed environment.
And even if you're in a closed environment, those viruses are not
rampant in the warmer weather. Yeah.
Yeah, so it gives us possibilities. Yeah, so it's just kind of all of that, you know. I guess it's just kind of just reiterating why I think, you know, we're working hard. We were told, because we did wear our t-shirts to the appointments, and people love us in our t-shirts. They love that we're matching. They are like, you guys are doing it right. So thank you guys.
It helps out to hear.
It does.
I mean, but we as much as we've had so much action from our community, our team BT out there. We need more, right? So,
Yeah.
what are the 3
Oh,
shares?
wait, before you
Oh,
do, well, I guess we'll go into that, but I was going to mention one of the things that the social worker was mentioning and asked the question, like, would you be able to afford medication that would not be covered? You know, it was like
co-pays,
the
yeah.
very high copays and very high costs for medicine. And this will bring us into one of our 3 shares about us having a GoFundMe, and we'll talk about that more. Um, but that is a reason why we have
Reality.
that, and
Reality,
it
yeah.
is reality, and that is also really hard to be like, oh wow, you know, we have to ask people for money too. Like what? Not only a kidney, but money. You know, but that's literally what we need to do to keep this to make this work.
Keep this train
And
on
you
the
guys
rails.
have been wonderful. The people that have been able to donate or just supportive. I
We
mean,
spend enough any time. It's an hour
okay,
and 5 minutes.
okay,
3 shares.
okay. So, how you can help? Number one, share your spare
Share your spare, like the shirt
kidney.
says.
So basically, that means get tested to be a possible kidney donor, living kidney donor for Brian. To go to kidneyforbt.com. You also probably could type in hashtag kidney4bt, and it'll probably come up actually all of our websites and
Yeah,
everything,
we out there.
and our social media. You
Social media. What social media channels do we have?
oh, so that's the second one.
Share your
Share.
story.
So number 2 is share our story,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have Facebook, we have Instagram at KidneyBT4. Sorry, Kidney4BT. Whoa. Okay.
At Kidney4BT.
Yes, thank you. And now YouTube, which we are live on YouTube now. So please start sharing that as well. I know we can try to spread that out. People have recommended that this YouTube might be really good to get a lot of views from outside our bubble
Yeah.
and network, and we're trying to reach further. But we can't do that without you guys. And the last would be our share your spare change, which means our GoFundMe. Again, we have a GoFundMe page. It is connected to this, our social medias. You'll see it there, but we also have it on our website to connect that we're trying to raise money for these extreme cost costly medicines, immunosuppressant drugs for Brian to live with and on. He needs this for the rest of his life. Pre and post transplant, just transportation, stay, you know, just having to stay in the state for multiple days, weeks, months, just all of it. We're just trying to know that that is not a concern. You know, like we can handle that. Like this, like if we need to, if insurance doesn't cover X, Y, and Z, we don't have to go, oh my goodness, how is he going to take his meds? We're not going to pay, I don't know, the light bill, the electric bill, right? I said that once years ago. We're not going to pay the electric bill, and because we need Brian to be alive, you know, like that would be hard.
Yeah.
That would be hard, and that's real. That's real life. So
Life is precious, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
it is. So thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you guys. I'm hoping this makes up for yesterday. Not doing it, but we're here. Thanks you for staying with us. Thank you for tuning in at some point. If you do, you watch this later. We will talk to you tomorrow.
And let's go, Mets.
Mets.
Oh, check you out.
Okay, in this. Don't be so much.